It was 5:39 in the morning, the kind of Texas morning where the fog drapes over everything like a cold, wet blanket, and the only sound should be the hum of crickets or maybe a rooster too eager for dawn. But not today. No. Today, the sirens cut through that fog like a blade, red and blue lights splattering across my porch, making every chipped bit of paint look like a crime scene. I was barefoot, coffee left steaming on the kitchen table, when I stepped out into that mess, blinking at two sheriff's deputies aiming flashlights at me like I was about to make the evening news. Hands up. Step forward. That's what the loudspeaker barked, real official, as if I was some kind of threat, on land where my family's name had been written longer than some of these folks have even been alive. All I could think, standing there shivering in my pajama pants, was how damn upside down it felt to be treated like a trespasser on the only patch of earth that's ever felt like home. The woman who'd called 911, she wasn't wrong about there being a stubborn man on this property. Just got the story twisted. Wasn't a stranger. Wasn't an invader. It was me. And the one who dialed for backup was Karen Slater, Queen Bee of the Hickory Ridge HOA. Let me back up a sec, because you have to understand, I didn't move to this little slice of Fairfield, Texas, looking for trouble. 15 years buried in corporate nonsense will make you crave dirt under your nails and honest work that makes you tired in your bones. So I bought these 12 acres. No neighbors close enough to notice my grass. No rules other than the ones God or nature laid down. The other side of the dry creek? Hickory Ridge, land of manicured lawns and plastic smile neighbors who measure self-worth in inches of perfect turf. A month after I moved in, the first letter arrived. One of those glossy envelopes with a logo so proud you'd think it was a law firm. Dear resident, it started, your property violates multiple community standards. I laughed, tossed it right in the fireplace, kept on patching my roof. 2 days later, Alexis kicked up dust on my road. Out she stepped. Karen herself, heels sinking in my dirt like she'd never met a pebble, sunglasses so big she looked like a bug from outer space, clipboard clutched like a scepter. Good morning, she said, voice clipped and bright. Are you the owner of this property? I wiped my hands on my jeans, leaned on my shovel, and said, I am. Something I can help you with. She did that tight little smile folks do right before they drop bad news. Karen Slater, president of the Hickory Ridge Homeowners Association. We sent you a letter about several compliance concerns. Got it, I said. Made excellent kindling. That smile of hers twitched like it was trying to escape her face. Sir, your property is visible from several community lots. It impacts the neighborhood's visual cohesion. Ma'am, I said, you're standing on land that's not in your HOA. Never was, never will be. Her eyes hardened. We've reviewed property maps. Your parcel sits within our extended perimeter. Funny, because the deed in my kitchen says otherwise. Want to see it? She hesitated for just a second, then turned on her heel. You'll be hearing from us again. I'll leave the gate open, I called after her. Didn't mean it. Next week, I started seeing her car parked across the road. Same Lexus, windows tinted too dark for Texas sun. Then came the drone, little thing, nearly silent, hovering over my barn like a mosquito with a camera. I shot it down, legally, for the record, and left the wreck hanging from my gate with a note. Property is not a playground. That night, some genius posted on the neighborhood app about suspicious activities at the old Anderson place, my place now. Said I was lowering their precious property values. I didn't bother replying, but I started keeping records, dates, times, license plates. You know, the grown-up version of coloring inside the lines. I'd seen enough in life to know real power isn't loud, it's patient. And I was about to need every ounce of patience I had. Then came a 911 call. Middle of the night, 2 deputies looking like they'd rather be anywhere else, both scanning me as if I was one bad day away from being a headline. I handed over my ID, my deed, my utility bill. The taller one, Ames, just sighed. Looks like a misunderstanding. This isn't a misunderstanding, I told him. It's harassment. He didn't argue. As soon as they left, I called my lawyer, Sarah Morales. They sent cops to my house, claimed I was trespassing on my own farm. Sarah didn't sound surprised. Then it's war, she said, and you'd better start documenting every single thing. 3 days later, another letter arrived, thicker, more official. Karen had filed a complaint, said I was running an unlicensed commercial enterprise. The evidence? Photos of my little roadside stand, selling eggs and honey, a couple baskets of zucchini, taken without my permission. Screenshots from my Facebook post. I made $60 all summer and gave half to the volunteer fire department, but suddenly I was the next Al Capone. Sarah just laughed. They're bluffing, but let's make them regret it. That night, I hammered 3 new signs onto my fence. Private property, not subject to HOA. Trespassers will be photographed, fed to chickens, or both. I even started a website, thislandismiling.net, posted every document, every piece of proof that Hickory Ridge had no claim over me. Uploaded the doorbell footage of Karen storming up my drive. By sunrise, the site had gone local viral. Some folks call me a troublemaker, others call me a hero, but all of them were watching. Then the chicken. Yeah, a real one, a trash bag tossed over my fence, feathers twisted up inside like a bad prank. Check my cameras, 2:43 a.m., a hooded figure steps out of a white SUV, same make as Karen's, throws the bag, runs. I sent the clip to Sarah. She watched twice and said, "We make this public." I cut the footage into a 30-second meme, labeled it "Caught Red-Handed," HOA President Plants Evidence, and blasted it all over Facebook. By sundown, it was everywhere, memes, remixes, even a version with dramatic music. For the first time, people saw Karen wasn't untouchable, but you know how it goes, power doesn't go down without a tantrum. That night, someone cut my lights and spray-painted one word on my barn. Traitor. Not long after, a fire. Real deal. Midnight, I woke to the smell of burning plastic. Flames swallowing the awning over my irrigation pump. Shed catching. Grabbed my hose. Nothing line was cut. Used 2 extinguishers. Saved the barn. Lost the pump. Fire department showed up when it was mostly over, just in time to watch me hand over the camera footage. Some tall guy, face covered, baseball bat over his shoulder, tossing a Molotov cocktail. Sheriff Ames showed up again. "You got a suspect?" "I do." "Zach, the kid Karen drags to every HOA cookout." Ames just nodded. They caught Zach 2 days later. Red Civic, busted taillight, Molotov residue in the trunk. Messages on his phone. "Teach the farmer a lesson." Karen says pressure makes change. Sarah's office was quiet when she handed me the file. "We're filing today, restraining order, civil suit, criminal charges, not just against him, but the HOA board. And we're going after their insurance. If we prove a hostile environment, the whole board loses coverage." That's where it hurts. I just nodded. Then let's hurt them legally. The weeks that followed, like a slow earthquake. News crews. Headlines. Farm under fire. HOA overreach in Fairfield. County launches an investigation. Subpoenas. 2 board members quit. One posting an open letter blaming Karen for turning neighbors against neighbors. County tried to cover itself. Issued a vague statement. Ongoing reviews. Too late. Internet had already picked sides, mine. Auditors came, went through emails, budgets, Karen's meeting notes. One file stood out, a PowerPoint, resisting zoning roles, strategies for maintaining authority. Slide 3, neutralize outliers early. My name and address, circled in red. Sarah slid the file across her desk, her face serious. "You were never random. You were their example." First county hearing, Karen had to look me in the eye. Courtroom smelled like dust and bad coffee. She sat 3 rows up, blazer stiff, face pale as chalk. Sarah laid out every bit. fake letters, the 911 call, harassment, drone, dead chicken, arson, messages from Zach linking him to Karen. Then she put a handwritten note on the judge's desk. Karen's handwriting, matched by specialist. Keep pressure on perimeter properties. Fire may be metaphorical, but sometimes it spreads. Judge didn't look up for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was low and even. Mrs. Slater, you are found personally liable for harassment, defamation, and willful negligence. You are hereby barred from serving on any HOA board for the next 10 years. Karen just stood up, shoulders shaking, walked out without a word. I stepped outside into the sunlight, courthouse steps warm under my feet. Sarah joined me, arms crossed, little smile. You did it, she said. No, I told her we did. She laughed, half exhausted, half proud. Battle won. War over, I said, at least for now. Back home, the land looked different. Not because it changed, but because it finally felt like mine again. I rebuilt the scorched shed into a greenhouse. Goats grazing near the fence, trees whispering. I just stood there, breathing, feeling the world spin slow and safe for the first time in months. A few days later, Dennis, my neighbor from Hickory Ridge, a guy who once called me the redneck with goats, drove up, handed me a pie, awkward as a kid. Didn't know the truth till it all came out. You were right to stand your ground. Wasn't about being right, I said. It was about not letting myself be erased. He nodded, embarrassed, drove off down the same dirt road Karen used to own like a parade float. For the first time in months, the quiet felt honest. Now, when I walk my property line, I don't look over my shoulder. Cameras still hum, not from fear, but memory. There's a new sign on my gate. Private land, battle-tested, HOA free. Sometimes, when the wind hits just right, it flaps like a flag over land that finally belongs to itself again. And when it does, I think of Karen, how she thought control and community were the same, that paper could outvote truth, that land would bend to a signature. But freedom doesn't file for permission. Call me stubborn, call me defiant, call me whatever you want. What I learned out here is simple. Silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Stand your ground long enough, and even the loudest bullies learn to kneel. That's how you survive in the battle of the HOA. So what do you think? Should there be a limit to how much power a homeowners association gets? Drop your thoughts below, share your story if you've got one, and hit that like button if you believe land should always come before paperwork. I'll be out here, tending my field, waiting to hear what you'd do if it was your name on the deed.